Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the UKG podcasts. Today, I feel duped. I feel like someone who's been taken for a ride. INEOS have lied to us. If you INEOS, what's going on? INEOS have lied to me, have lied to you. They've been giving us media spin. The transfer window just closed last night, and nothing much has been done. Devin Austin was in the Sky Sports news today, and he was speaking about the plans, the summer plans. The summer plans have been revealed, but INEOS have lied to us. Do they actually have a plan, or were they just keeping us busy as they knew that we couldn't get any signings, or the fans will be angry if there are no signings? So today we are going to discuss about that. Are INEOS lying to us? Did they lie? Did they lie to us? Why am I zoning out? What's happening to my tongue? But anyway, welcome to the UKG podcasts. My name is Simon Insky. As usual, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button. We are at 663 subscribers. Road to 1,000 is still on. As usual, also on TikTok, make sure you give a shout out, get involved in the comments. Let's discuss. INEOS have lied to us. INEOS have had 4 transfer windows so far, and nothing much has been done in terms of the rebuild. There is talk of winning the league in 2028. There is talk of resetting standards. There is talk of having a proper rebuild, but we haven't seen a lot being done, to be honest. Yes, United had a 4 out of 10, in my opinion, window over the summer, bringing in 4 players. In January last year, they brought on Dogu. Also, the likes of Eden Heaven came in. But has it been enough? Is it enough? Which plan do INEOS actually have? What plans do INEOS actually have? I think this gum is making me talk nonsense. I'm struggling talking while having gum in my mouth. But anyway, yeah, so we know the transfer window closed last night, and we were expecting to see some transfer activity. We know that United need midfielders. Everyone knows, whether you're a United fan or a rival fan. Every fan on our lives in other platforms, let's say on X, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. So everyone is saying the same thing. United need midfielders. United are one injury away or one suspension away from actually having a really, really tough time, a really, really tough season. With 14 games to go, nothing has actually been done. Nothing, absolutely nothing, not even a loan move, a permanent transfer. And I believe the players of the INEOS group have been spinning us around, have been kicking us around. The fans get excited, I get excited, you get excited, but in the end, my mic had gone off. Sorry guys, my mic had gone off. I didn't touch anything. I promise. I didn't touch anything. So as I was saying, I did some research. I did some digging in terms of what has been pushed out to the media, the briefings, what has been in mainstream media, what has been in the ITK accounts. We know ITK accounts mostly are on X. The stories that have been told, the press conferences, just digging, just trying to look at the narratives that have been there from summer 2025. We expected United to go big over summer. We expected them to actually do a proper rebuild. We only saw 4 players coming in, one of which
came in a bit late. You can say even two of them, a striker and a goalkeeper. Two players coming in very late. A clear out was done, yes. The likes of Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony, Sancho, all of them were let go, but nothing was done. Nothing much was done when it came to incomings. We only had Cunha, Mbumo coming in. Sheshko, Lamens came on quite late, and we haven't really seen a lot being done in the January window. A lot of expectations for the uh, I mean a lot nothing was done in the summer transfer window. We were expecting a lot to be done in January. Nothing much was done. Actually, not even nothing much. Nothing was absolutely done. No loan moves, no permanent moves. It's just academy graduates going out on permanent deals or loans. So I decided to dig. I decided to have a look and actually now start seeing the sort of media spin we've been having. Dak, you're saying now you're finally giving some positive news. I think this is the second time you're coming on. Um, you watched a short clip, you watched one show, and you created your own perception. You developed your own perception. I don't judge you. It's the way of life. You already judged me before you even know what the platform is all about, or what I'm all about. And of course, me saying that the way United are playing is not sustainable is being negative. That's your perception. We don't have to agree on everything, Dak. We don't have to agree on everything. And that's the reality of life. That's the reality of. I don't expect everyone to agree with me, and I don't expect you to agree with me. And I also don't accept. I don't expect that I will agree with everything everyone says. Though it's my opinion. Um, El Gringo is saying, good evening, UKG. Hope you're having a great night. Hope you had a lovely day and you're doing well. Yes, El Gringo, as usual. El Gringo, I also owe you a gift. You and Paul, you always start the chats on a high with a greeting, just wanting to know how I'm doing, how also Casey is doing. And I'm doing great. I had a good day. It's one of those days where everything just works fine, when your projects come off, when you're just having a nice day, it was a lovely, lovely day. It was a lovely, lovely day. Yeah. So my audio is cracking. Sorry, Doc. My mic. I think my mic had an issue. I hope now it's okay. Hey, hey, Megumi. Hello, love. I can see you on the chat. Can see you on the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Um, the missus has been my number one supporter. When I went live the first day, she was the only one who was online and tuning in. I was in my bedroom, as you can see. She was in the living room and she was tuning in. The first live I had 0 viewers. The first live I had with 0 viewers, and now the platform has grown. The platform has grown. You always get gifts. Come on, you always get gifts. Um, now, okay, yeah. Let's now do some digging. I actually went to do some digging, and I decided to have a look at what has been pushed through the media over the last couple of months. Over the last couple of months, it started in late May last year. That is basically summer last year. With the narrative, of course, we know that Wilcox, Berada were coming out with interviews and they were saying, we've got a plan. And I believe this was done. This was an interview that was done as United were going to prepare for the preseason friendlies in the US. So Omar Berada talked about the ambitious plan for the summer window. We know that interview saying now we have a plan, we've planned ahead, all that. And the expectations were set. If we are honest, the expectations were set. Considering United finished 15th, they needed to have a big window to rebuild the squad. United finished 15th in the Premier League. They lost to Tottenham in the Europa League final, and they needed to have a big window. A couple of players were leaving as well. We know, for example, in midfield, Eriksen was leaving. We had a couple of exits during that summer. Nothing much was really done. So the likes of Rashford as well, Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony. So they say they had a plan. So when we started seeing them making these exits, endorsing these exits, letting players go, Onana go out on loan, letting Sancho leave, letting Rashford leave, letting Garnacho leave, letting all these players leave, we started seeing that idea of there's a plan that's coming on. There's a plan that's actually being implemented, being executed. So Omar Berada talked up about an ambitious plan for some of the summer window. Similar, we've been planning for months, or we know what we need to do. Messaging also appeared in the summer coverage. We all know this. This is how it started. Our hopes, our expectations was set high. They were set high. So there was reassurance, there was ambition that actually United are going to have a proper rebuild. They tried it under Eric Ten Hag, but the money was not spent as wisely. Other than Mazraoui and De Ligt, I can't really think of any other signing that has worked out under Eric Ten Hag. Very few of them have worked out. Anthony has left. So a rebuild, we knew a proper rebuild is coming. They kept telling us there is a plan, there is a plan, there is a plan, but nothing to show. Nothing to show. We saw how United played in the summer series. We were hopeful. Finally, Amorim is implementing his philosophy. Finally, he's getting Cunha. Then talks of Mbumo started coming in. We started getting excited. Then there were talks about a midfielder coming in. We started saying about I am a believer because we thought Carlos Baleba is going to come to United. United won the summer series. They were playing good football, dominating play, scoring goals, winning matches. But summer is summer, preseason is preseason. It doesn't really give a true picture. Now, when it came to actually the season starting, there was this talk that Onana wants a contract extension. At the same time, the club uh, want to see how it goes with Bayandia before they buy a goalkeeper. So now the narrative started changing from a proper rebuild to actually let's see what we can actually do with what we have. Then there was the bomb squad. You remember the whole story about the bomb squad. 5 players in the bomb squad, including Malacia, they need to be let go, and United are looking at replacements. Hoyland was added to the bomb squad, and we were hopeful. We were hopeful. So Hoyland was sold. It didn't quite look like United would go into the summer with a proper striker until, of course, the Sheshko um, deal came on. Then there was that whole media story about Watkins versus Mateta versus Sheshko. So you look at all these briefings, they really happened in a short time, and it shows you how United media space, the Manchester United media space, can be flooded with news. And that was just in the summer. From a proper rebuild, we started seeing a clear out. And then after that, nothing much was done when it came to incomings. Cunha was done quite early because it was an easy release clause payment. The Mbumo deal took a very long time. I believe it took 8 weeks. 8 weeks, I stand corrected. 8 weeks to get the deal over the line. It went from 65 to 72 to 75. Eventually, the deal was done at 75 with add-ons. And then now we started asking ourselves, how come United are only doing one deal at a time? Why can't United do multiple deals at a time? Then a media spin started coming in that United don't want to overpay on players. I was part of the bandwagon that said, yeah, it's a good move. But yet again, how come United were only able to work on one deal at a time? For example, the Semenyo one, we'll come to it shortly. So it seems like INEOS, either INEOS or the Glazers are trying to keep the fans busy, the fans guessing what's actually happening. Yeah, we are seeing part of the plan, but at the same time, it's not the full plan. We were expecting a proper summer rebuild. It's not happened. United finished 15th, lost in the Europa League. And then this narrative came that, oh, United don't have money because of Champions League football, so they can't spend as much. But how many seasons have United not been in the Champions League, but were able to spend big? I remember one of the seasons, United didn't make the Champions League, but they still went big in the summer window. A lot of activity was done in the final week of that window. So there is that. Once you start looking at that perspective, like there are media briefings that are pushed out to keep fans busy, to keep fans hopeful, to keep fans engaged. Now you'll understand the whole story. You'll understand the whole story. Let me read some of the comments um, before I go to the next point. Let's see. Um, Dak, you're asking why spend on a big squad when we are not in Europe? Well, it's more or less a chicken and egg kind of situation. Which comes first? You risk you risk losing out on Europe if you don't actually fix key areas in that squad. Right now, United are one injury or one suspension away from actually having a really tough time getting Champions League. Yesterday we looked at the table. Yesterday we looked at the table. Let me actually see whether I can get that table again. We saw United are in a very competitive spot for top four and top five. Let me share this. So United are in a very competitive spot. If you look at that table, United are currently fourth with 41 points. Sorry, 41 points. Chelsea are fifth with 40 points. Liverpool are sixth with 39 points. Brentford are seventh with 36. So the difference between Manchester United at fourth place and Brentford at seventh place is only 5 points. You look at Chelsea, the difference is 1 point. Liverpool, the difference is 2 points. So United are one draw away or one loss away from moving out of top four. Moving out of top four. So if Liverpool win their next game, they'll be on 42 points. If Chelsea win their next game, they'll be on 43 points. If United draw, they'll be on 42. So United drop all the way to sixth place. We all saw what happened to Casemiro. Not to Casemiro, in the Fulham game when Casemiro came off and Ugarte came on. The 2-0 lead went away. So United were actually looking at a 2-2 draw. And I said after that watch along in the review, I said, thank the football gods that that game had 9+ minutes. Because if that game had like 200 minutes, 300 minutes, United, then that game would have ended 2-2. 2-2, and United will have had what? 41 minus 2, 39 points. 39 points. And we've just seen 39 points similar to Liverpool. Liverpool have a better goal difference. So United will have dropped to sixth place. So United are in a very tricky position, Dak. It's not a must for them to spend big, but at least get a player or two in those key positions. Get a player in midfield, get a player as a fullback. Right now, you look at left back. If Luke Shaw gets an injury, then you start looking at, as I said last night in last night's show, starting to negotiate positions. Like now we start saying, okay, Dalot can play left back, Mazraoui plays right back. That's the sort of situation now we are looking at. We are looking at a situation where, in case Casemiro is injured or Casemiro is suspended for 3 games, that leaves us with how many options in midfield? Bruno right now is playing quite well. He's providing assists. What happens if he gets an injury? You start now negotiating. Who plays there? Is it Cunha? Is it Mount? Is it Mbomo? Is it Kobe? So United are living on the edge. United are actually right now living on the edge. Yes, 14 games to go, well and fine. But you can't sign a player now for the future. You can't sign a player now that you intended to sign over the summer. I don't understand why United didn't go for a long-term signing now. You know, you know. Alan, you're saying that's why they love signing players that can play multiple positions to save money. That's true. That's true. Mazraoui can play CDM, can play CM, can play 10, can play left back, right back, center back. It's a good asset to have. It's a good asset to have. Now, going on with the discussion, continuing with the discussion here. So that was in May. In May, INEOS came out and said, we have a plan. All of us were hopeful. We started seeing a clear out. We were like, finally, Cunha Mbumo, Premier League experience, we are starting to rebuild. The Baleba stories started coming out late in the summer, but nothing really happened. Salamens signed on the last day of the window. So now come to December 2020. Now the pressure is on. Amorim is not performing well. The team has pressure to keep up with the top four race. This season is one freakish season because teams are not consistent. The only consistent team in the Premier League is Arsenal. We saw Aston Villa patches of consistency, then they drop off. Right now, Aston Villa have around 7 injuries of their first team players. So that will affect their performance, their push for top four, their push for Champions League. So pressure started cranking up on Amorim, like, dude, you even with this team, you can beat Burnley, you can beat 10-man Everton, you can beat Nottingham. Nottingham are in the relegation scrap right now. You should beat Tottenham. Tottenham are 14th. So the pressure started coming towards Amorim. Amorim, on the other hand, he was promised part of the narrative that was there in May. He was promised that, yeah, as much as INEOS didn't sign players in the summer, we are going to go for players in January. And we started seeing those briefings like United won't go for short-term signings, they will go for long-term signings. As you can see there, Amorim hinted United may overlook short-term needs and focus on long-term targets in January. That was the narrative, and it came from a press conference. It came from a press conference. So basically, that spin, the spin there was to tell United fans that don't be very hopeful, because if a long-term signing and long-term target that is not available in January, then we just have to wait in the summer. That's where the spin started. Spin, 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 spin. So we are not going for a short-term deal. And round about this time, there were reports of Conor Gallagher, the guy who went to Tottenham from Atletico Madrid. You remember? Conor Gallagher was being rumored to be a target of United for a loan deal. Atletico Madrid wanted a loan with an obligation. United did not want that. So when this narrative or these reports came out, it was around that time that United needed to sign midfielders. It was clear, it was apparent that United needed midfielders, and Conor Gallagher was one of them as a short-term target. And then now the spin started like, there is no need for us to go for a short-term deal. Let's just focus on long-term targets. So Elliot Anderson, Baleba, Wharton, those links started coming up. And then during the same time, the reports started coming out that City want Anderson. Anderson wants a club that plays Champions League. Wharton wouldn't come to United because they are not in Champions League. So it was all about spin. The stuff about Champions League, the stuff about other clubs going for players, it was all to support this narrative. Like, we won't go for a Conor Gallagher type of player. We want to go for a long-term deal. We want to go for a long-term deal. So the spin angle was to lower expectations before January even opens. Basically, don't expect quick fixes. Think long-term. That was the spin. That was the entire spin. Don't expect a short-term deal. Expect a long-term target. Oh, unfortunately, it's difficult to do deals in January. You remember that narrative? You remember that story? You remember that agenda? So as I said, when you start looking at that spin from that angle, like media briefings, interviews here and there, reports of players, they are being of interest to United all of a sudden, or they are reserved, or they don't want to come to United because they want to see whether United go to the Champions League. To me, it was all about spin. There is no way you can convince me that United have only had three midfield targets. They only had Baleba, Wharton, and Anderson as the top targets. No, there are many other midfielders that could be available. There are many other positions that United need to sign, but the narrative was always midfielder, midfielder. Even right now, it's midfielder, midfielder, midfielder. But we know United need to sign like 6 players in one window. United need a left back, they need a right back, they need a second striker, they need a number 10 to deputize Bruno or to replace Bruno if he leaves. They need 3 midfielders at least. So the narrative, the spin right now is to tell United fans, do not expect a lot of signings. Our focus, our primary focus is midfield. Is midfield. Yeah, let me read some of the comments. Ian, you're saying we concede each time Casemiro gets subbed off. Yes, and that's why I'm saying right now everything is about a midfielder. But that's not the only position. And we've already seen Ugarte coming in. Ugarte is the sort of player that needs a run of games. And Ugarte is not a proper number 6. He's a good number 8, box to box. He's good at defending higher up the pitch. When he has a high defensive line, he's good at that. But asking Ugarte to stick in one position like Casemiro does or to mop up, no. Ugarte likes roaming, going where the ball is to tackle. Casemiro reads the game. Casemiro is the only proper CDM we have. Alan, you're asking, why will Anderson choose United over City when we don't even know who the manager is? Yes, and I asked that question yesterday. I said yesterday in last night's live. United are in a very, very tricky position because you have to consider what is happening in the summer, the World Cup. So United need to start making plans now for next year. They need to start making pre-agreements. They need to start having gentlemen's agreements now before summer, because over the summer, players leave 3 weeks early for national team assignments. And sometimes, not always, sometimes players are asked not to have those negotiations. They are asked to actually concentrate on the national team assignments. Agents as well are advised by national teams, please, as much as you want to get your client a deal, we would prefer it to be done after the tournament. So now that starts bringing a dependency of you either wait for the player to be eliminated from the competition or after the competition. Now, once the competition is done, the World Cup, most of the time players take a 3-week break to go into preseason. So United need to start making deals now and lock down a manager, lock down players, so that they know by the time the World Cup is ending or the player has been eliminated or the manager has been eliminated from the World Cup, they straight away come to United. You remember the Louis van Gaal situation we saw with United. United had to wait and wait and wait for Louis van Gaal. And then when he came in, there was chaos because the manager has to discuss transfers The manager has to actually say, yes, I can work with that signing. INEOS are trying to bring in a modernized way of running the club in terms of we'll sign players for the head coach. The head coach will work with whatever we give them. But that doesn't negate the fact that some players might not be available until after the World Cup. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is, as I predicted over summer, it's happening. I predicted that central midfielders, CDMs, CMs, CAMs, as well as fullbacks will be high on the list of player search. City need a midfielder. They already started looking for Rodri's replacement. Elliot Anderson can be one of them. Calvin Phillips didn't work out. Didn't work out. Probably Rodri will be there, but now Anderson comes in as a Calvin Phillips replacement. We've seen Arsenal want to add another midfielder. Yesterday there were talks of Tonali. Liverpool as well, they haven't really replaced Fabinho, they haven't replaced Henderson, they haven't replaced Keita. They need a midfielder. They need a good midfielder like Elliot Anderson or Baleba. In Europe as well, across Europe, Real Madrid, some of their midfielders are injury prone. They would want one. They would want a very good CDM. We've seen Bayern as well scouting. So now United will be competing with the likes of City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Bayern, Barcelona, Real Madrid for the same pool of top talents. Yes, there are a lot of midfielders, but the top talents are, we know them. We know them. We know the top talents. Wharton, Anderson are among the top midfielder targets. And as I said, INEOS don't look like they have a plan. By now, we should be hearing talk of they didn't make the deal happen in January, but at least they have an agreement to sign the player over summer. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that at all. Now, moving on, as I said, it's spin. It's all about spin. So that was in December. United are only going to prioritize long-term targets. Now come late December, the Semenyo noise. We all heard about Semenyo, about talk of United wanting to sign him, United basically fighting for Semenyo's signature with City. Semenyo having a chat with Amorim, Semenyo having a chat with Wilcox, and Semenyo not being convinced by the project. So money was there. United had set 65 million to buy Semenyo. So the reporting that United were in the mix for Antoine Semenyo, but looked set to miss out. Chelsea also tried, to no success. Liverpool, I think. So Semenyo eventually chose City. So Amorim publicly said the condition: no January signings unless there is a common ground with Jason Wilcox. So now Semenyo is there. United wanted to sign Semenyo over summer, it didn't happen. Now the Semenyo links have come out. Semenyo looks like he will sign for City. He hasn't signed it. He hasn't signed yet. Looks like he will sign for City. And then the media spin that comes out is Amorim and Wilcox need to have a common ground. Like they need to agree on signing players. And this was all over ITK accounts. It was all over the media. So these guys I believe these guys have perfected the art of keeping Manchester United fan base busy. To keep us busy in terms of guessing. Are they going to sign or not? Are they going to get a player or not? Will the player accept United or not? And then eventually, when a player rejects United, oh, we were never interested in him. He was not part of the plans. How many times have we had that? How many times? We've had that so many times. You remember when Haaland, uh, Ole wanted Haaland, then eventually he went to Borussia Dortmund. What was the spin? oh, he can't come to United because his dad played for Man City, so they don't prefer their son signing for United. That was the spin. That was the spin. It's all about spin, spin, spin. I absolutely believe that these guys have perfected the art of media spin. They want us to believe whatever is on the media. They think that United fans are foolish. We can't see what's going on. So when you look at the December narrative, that was the pivot for January. So they started early December in terms of lower your expectations. We are not going to go for loan deals. Yes, we know that the team needs more players, the team needs midfielders, but we are not going to go for loan deals. That expectation was lowered. The expectation of getting a deal done in January was lowered early in December by that narrative that we are United is going to prioritize getting long-term targets. And unfortunately, long-term targets are difficult to get in January, so we'll wait in the summer. So the expectations were lowered. And then now when it came to late December, as I display there, when it came to late December, it became all about we are trying. The PR is now we are trying our best, but the players don't want to come. Case in point, Semenyo. We are trying. We are trying. As INEOS, we are trying, but the players don't want to come. And then it was all about we have to be aligned. Amorim and Wilcox have to be aligned. They have to have a common ground. So that was the media spin. Then it became about the player has to fit the philosophy. The player has to fit uh, Premier League experience, blah, 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 all that. You remember that spin in December? United won't go for foreign-based players because they will take a lot of time to adapt to the Premier League. That was the spin. That was the spin. Now, come January, Amorim is sacked. He blows up because the promises have been broken. So Amorim's public outburst and the boardroom friction were widely reported as part of the end. Reuters explicitly framed it as disputes, rigidity, and internal friction reaching a breaking point. Sky Sports also covered what went wrong and the Leeds press conference context. So Amorim, we remember very well, Amorim was promised, since the summer window didn't work out, INEOS were going to go into the January window and get him some players. For example, wing backs and a midfielder. So he was the briefing that came out over summer is, yeah, we know we haven't done so much in summer or over the summer window. So we promise we are going to give you a very good January window. Then, of course, it seems as United fans' expectations were being lowered, also Amorim's were being shattered. Amorim, it's like he was basically told, no, we won't give you new signings. Just change to a back four, change play 4-4-3-3, play 4-2-3-1, play a back four. We can't sign players right now. That's why Amorim came out with that outburst. So that tells you now everything that happened last year to a point where Amorim was sacked. The next bit I want us to have a look at what actually has happened towards the end of the window and what happened today with that with Ornstein. But let me read some comments. Let me read some comments here. El Gringo is saying we need to win the next match, honestly speaking. I mentioned it also last night. I said every game for United is a cup final. Every game for United, the 14 remaining games are knockout games. United can't afford to lose points. I know it's unrealistic to expect 14 out of 14 wins, but every point counts now. Chelsea, Liverpool are breathing down United's necks. And who knows, United might also keep winning and go to second place. Who knows? The way the table is looking, City are inconsistent. Aston Villa have had injuries. The likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, they still have to play each other. So there are some points to be dropped there. United are yet to play Aston Villa. United are yet to play Chelsea. United are yet to play Liverpool. So United need to make sure the winnable games they've actually won. By the time they are meeting those three teams, they can solidify top four. So El Gringo, yeah, I agree with you 150% that United must win all matches. It's unrealistic. I know it's unrealistic, but they need to make sure they don't drop points. They don't drop points. Rio, you are saying Tonali could be a good replacement for Casemiro. And you know what pisses me off, Rio? United had a chance to sign Tonali. United were offered Tonali before he went to Newcastle. They say no. They don't think that he can be good for the Premier League. Similar to Caicedo, similar to Haaland. United said those players are not ready for the Premier League. They can't adapt the Premier League. Tonali right now is one of the best central midfielders in the world. Let's see whether United can go for him. But the agent offered his player to Arsenal. And I have a feeling like things are not well at Newcastle. It seems like players want to leave. Like Anthony Gordon, I don't think he'll stay there for long, to be honest. He's a good player, but he's not playing as much. And the way Newcastle look, they might not even make it to Champions League next season. They might not make it to Champions League. Yeah, so Tonali was offered to United. United had a chance to sign Tonali, but they say no, we won't. Ian, you're saying Arsenal's time is not yet. They lose 10 games in a row. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think Arsenal will lose 10 games, but it's their league to lose. You know, if City won over the weekend, then pressure would have been on Arsenal to actually win a lot of games. But now City dropping points, Aston Villa dropping points, it's Arsenal's league to lose. I'd actually be shocked if Arsenal don't win the league. I still believe, as much as I hate Arsenal, I still believe they'll win the league. I still believe they'll win the league. And to me, I said, if I speak as a neutral fan, they do deserve to win. Those guys have really worked hard for this. They've trusted the project, they've trusted their manager, they've made good signings, they've invested money, and finally, they are starting to see some fruits. You know. Let's see. The fact that Ornstein has come out and said the news about spending big is a myth. Yeah, I'm about to go through that, Alan. El Gringo is saying, for me, it's not only Champions League, it's also how the coach is doing his lineup. Yeah, you know, I said the way United played versus Fulham is not sustainable. United can't always depend on counterattacks, transitional football. No. United need to actually start having control of the games. And this is part of the problem why that is an issue is because Carrick right now is not doing a lot tactically in terms of changing patterns of play, in terms of asking for a lot, because he does not have that time to start making a lot of tactical changes. The only changes Carrick has made is change formation, play players in their best position, give them confidence, and ask them, do what you do best. But in the long term, United can't keep playing like that. We saw, I said, and I actually posted a video on TikTok, and a lot of people slaughtered me for saying it. But I said, we've seen it under Ole. The moment teams realize that, oh, United are playing transitional football, they lock down. They play low blocks. There are games when United will not have a lot of the ball. And that's the games that United perform well. There are games that when United have a lot of the ball, they also need to control and win. We've seen a couple of times, not even under Carrick, not even under Amorim, It started under Eric Ten Hag. United have most of the ball, but they can't win that game. For example, the Everton game, United had lots of possession, but Everton placed a low block. There were no ideas to create chances. You look at that Fulham game, Fulham were really, really stubborn before United scored that first goal. They were really compact. They were very, very solid in defense. When they conceded that first goal, that Casemiro header, it's when they decided to come out and actually chase, see whether they can get the goal. Then the second goal came in. You look at the third goal, the Sheshko winner, sorry. The Sheshko winner came from transition. Fulham were pushing to lead. Fulham were pushing to score the winner. That created space in behind. Bruno made a run. He made a very good dummy. Sheshko was 2-on-1, acres of space, and scored. Cunha's goal as well. Fulham were pushing. They were pushing. So when United get teams that actually play a low block, they struggle a lot. It's not a Carrick issue. It's not an Amorim issue. It started way back under Eric Ten Hag. The other issue that I said about United needing to have a long-term playing style is vibes and inshallah won't win us trophies. Vibes and inshallah won't win us trophies. We need to have a clear way of playing. Carrick right now just needs to keep it going. Keep it going, keep winning, keep giving confidence, keep doing what you can to win. Right now, we don't want a tactical masterclass. And the reason as to why, like yesterday, El Gringo was laughing is because guys didn't understand that context. Carrick doesn't need to do a lot. He hasn't done a lot and he doesn't need to do a lot. He doesn't need to start saying, oh, now we need to play this formation. No. Just keep winning with whatever works. We said in the preview of that Fulham game, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But what frustrated me the most is not controlling the game. It's not a Carrick issue. It's a United issue. You can't be 2-0 up and then you're just letting it go. The moment teams decide to actually come at United, it's one loss of concentration, it's a goal. Another example I said is when you're 2-1 up, you've seen that the team has scored from a penalty. Lock it down. Keep possession. Make them run. Slow down play. Ask your fullbacks not to go forward. Ask them, no, stay behind. It's 2-0 up. Dalot was playing like a winger. Why? It's 5 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go. Lock it down. Keep possession. Control. Let them run. Let them keep running with the ball, running for the ball, that is, looking for the ball. Just delay. Dribble forward. Get the corner. Play a short corner. Possess. The clock is running down. Give Cunha the ball. He's tripped. He falls down. Time is running, you know. So Carrick needs to keep doing what he's doing. Just set up the team to win. We'll think about major tactical changes later. We'll think about formations. We'll think about U-runs, E-runs much later. But for now, when you score one goal, you'd rather park the bus the entire game. When you score 2, 3, that's fine. But you can't be 2-0 up. You allow 2-1, you allow 2-2 in a matter of minutes. No. At this time, in this league, we can't be allowing that. So I agree with you in terms of it's not only about Champions League, it's how the coach is doing his lineup. Yeah. Like right now, Sheshko deserves to start. He deserves to start, but Mbumo clearly is playing much better than Sheshko in that position, based on how Carrick sets up. Yeah. Let's see other comments before we finish up. Ooh, we only have a few minutes. Good question, Alan. How do you even trust an owner who hasn't succeeded in all the clubs they've owned? True. Good question there. That's a very good question. How do you even trust them? How do you even trust them? How do you even trust owners who get record-breaking revenues every year and they don't pay off the loan? United have paid 1.5 billion pounds in interest, and the loan was 650 to 700 million pounds. Basically, they've paid double in interest. How do you trust them? How do you trust them? Um, let's see. El Gringo is saying people should not just go for any manager. They need someone with at least EPL knowledge. Now there's a tricky part there. There's a tricky part there, El Gringo. Let's have a look at managers actually who are good and have PL experience. One of them is Tuchel. Will Tuchel accept to be a head coach? Will Tuchel accept to be a head coach? That's one question. The other managers we can say have Premier League experience is Mourinho. Can he really come back? Ancelotti. Can he really come back to the EPL? Who else has Premier League experience that's out there? Ole Gunnar is also an option. He has PL experience. Glasner at the moment, although he's not been performing well. Areola started brightly, but he's struggling. So very, very few managers you can actually say can come to United, become puppets, and handle the pressure. Because what's happening right now, for example, Amorim was taking a lot of heat for INEOS's mistakes. They knew he plays 3-4-3. They knew he has a set philosophy. He already said he won't change. And then you just let him out to dry. So if we look at managers with real experience, the pool is quite small. So moving on, I think time has flown. So we look at now Ali Feb. I mentioned we are going to talk about Ornstein. So multiple outlets summarized David Ornstein saying the summer might be crazy, but midfield is a top priority. This is often linked to Casemiro leaving and other areas need work. So listen to that or read that. See that comment. So I want to read what I wrote in my notes. So media outlets summarized David Ornstein by saying the summer might be crazy, but midfield is a top priority. And this has been often linked to Casemiro leaving. So there is this classic cycle of lower January expectations. We tried, and then the window closes, and then they say big summer priorities. So as you've seen there, clear examples. In January last year, same thing happened. Lower expectations, they got one or two signings. I think it was Heaven and Dogu. We won't do much because the January transfer window is crazy. Nothing much can be done in January. You remember that last year, January? They only got Dogu because Amorim wanted fullbacks. So they only went for Dogu and said, it's difficult. It's really, really difficult to do January signing. So we'll do it in the summer. Summer, we have a plan. We have a big plan. Summer 2025 comes. We need to clear out. We don't have money. We need to have a good spend. We need to have a good net spend, PSR, blah, blah, blah. Let's clear out. Let's clear out the wage structure. Get Sancho out. Get Garnacho out. Anthony needs to leave. Now we've done the clear out. Now we need to sign players. Ooh, unfortunately, it's very difficult to get our targets. The clubs are asking for too much money. Let's wait till January. The same story of January 2025 has happened this year. It's difficult to do transfers in January. Most of our long-term targets can only be acquired in June, July window. Let's just wait. Let's just hold on. We have enough to win games. We have enough to get Champions League. Same spin as January. Now we are being told, let's wait till summer. And David Ornstein has come and said, unfortunately, United won't have a crazy summer as you think. They will prioritize midfielders. So the expectations have already been lowered down. So that tells you United might actually sign one midfielder and call it and say that was a successful window. They might do that. And then wait for the first few games of the Premier League. They see, ooh, we are not performing well. Quickly, who can we sign? Spin, like Balebas. They did that Baleba story the last week of the window. Oh, we are trying to sign with Brighton. Brighton are being difficult. And it was in the last week of the window. They waited till the last week of the window, knowing very well United don't have midfielders. So look at that spin. So INEOS have lied to us. INEOS have lied to us. INEOS have lied to us. You have to remember all those spins. Yes, El Gringo, you say you remember. Yeah, that's what they did. Bro, for me, there is something usually I usually say if we score, we don't celebrate. True, can say that, but when it's a last minute winner, you have to celebrate. If there's someone who's a joker in our team, it's that guy Dalo. But apparently, Real Madrid want him. I actually believe if Dalo goes to a team like Real, Barcelona, he can be a very, very top fullback. I believe that. Dalo, we've seen Dalo is playing well in a back four. Yes, he has his moments, but in a back four, he's playing very, very, very well. Now, finally, the last point. Then we have our last segment of just chatting. Um, the media spin. Now, this is to summarize all that talk I've been giving or the discussion we've had. Expectation management as a tactic. First, create the hype, then have caveats, then excuses, then next window promise. As I said, let's look at summer 2025. Create the hype. We have a plan, we've been planning for months. We want to get that we want to win the title by 2028. So for us to win the title in 2028, we start now. So the hype starts. United want to sign a long-term midfielder, an athletic midfielder. They want to sign a profile that has PL experience, all that. Then what happens? Caveats. But for United to sign, now I'm saying the caveat. For United to sign, we need to clear out. We need to sell some of the players so that we are not in trouble with PSR. It happens. Another caveat comes in. Unfortunately, we can't sell the players at book value. We have to give loans with obligation. We are still not good with PSR, but we are trying. We are trying. Then what? That's the excuse now. Not caveat, excuse. Then it comes to next window. We tried our best. Unfortunately, Baleba was not available at the fee we wanted to pay. So let's try. Let's try in January. Let's try in January. You remember that? You remember that story? So summer, it was we have a plan. We want to win the league by 2028. We've been planning for months. We have our targets ready. Then now it comes to negotiations. Ooh. The player is expensive. We will be in trouble with PSR. We are not good with PSR. We had to sack a couple of employees. So yeah, for us to go into the transfer window, we need to start a clear out. Get rid of some players, get the money, recoup the money, top up, get a player. It happens. Sancho left, Rashford left, all those players left. Now it comes to actually now implementing the plan of buying players, rebuild. We are not getting the targets we want. Some of them have rejected us. They want huge contracts. Some of them want Champions League. We are not in a position to offer Champions League. The clubs like Brighton, they want 120 billion for Baleba. We don't think he's worth that amount. Yeah, so we will try. We will try to see what we can get, but don't expect too much. Don't expect too much. But hey, next window, coming January, we'll definitely get players. Amorim and United fans, don't worry. You just keep hold. We have enough players to compete. At least hold on till January. January comes or December. Well, it's usually difficult to do deals in January. We are thinking that continue holding on, but let's wait till January. We'll see whether we can get one or two players in January. January comes. Well, we don't see a scenario where we are going for long-term targets. But if an opportunity comes up, you remember that spin? If an opportunity comes up, we are going to sign a player. So PR replaces planning. The Semenyo chase headlines versus actual action. You remember that? You remember that spin? United are in pole position to sign Semenyo. Man City have surpassed United in Semenyo's race. So focusing on one player and making us forget that United actually need midfielders. And I can guarantee you, not only me, including yourself, you focus so much on Semenyo. We were so excited about Semenyo, we forgot that United actually need a midfielder more than Semenyo. Prove me wrong. Alan, you're saying, I believe they started the Palmer story. Yes, I actually forgot to mention, you remember the secret midfielder talks, and I actually did a whole podcast about it. You remember United are holding secret talks with a midfielder. You remember that spin? Kept us busy for around a week. What happened this past week? Carrick wants Rashford. You remember the last few days before the window closes. If Carrick is the permanent manager, he would want Rashford back. Then what do? No, we don't want Rashford back. At the same time, Rashford is okay. Amorim wouldn't want him. We start forgetting about the midfielders. So the manager gets blamed for the mess. Power struggle becomes the story, not squad building. So instead of actually focusing on what Amorim said, Amorim was not sacked because of poor performances. He was sacked because he called out Wilcox publicly. It was not because about performance. If it was solely about performances, he should have been sacked of when he finished 15th and lost to Spurs. That's when Amorim should have been sacked. If not that, he should have been sacked when United were kicked out of the Carabao Cup by Grimsby. He wasn't sacked. He wasn't sacked. So now the shift goes from it's the squad, it's the manager who is not performing in the squad. And I'm telling you right now, INEOS, the Glazers are very happy with Carrick because now the mentality of signings is gone. The mentality of a rebuild is gone. For example, if United actually keep winning and let's say get fourth place, third place, second place, they will say, we don't need to get a lot of signing. It's only Casemiro and Ugarte are leaving. We have Kobe. We have Kobe. Why do we need to sign three midfielders? We'll just sign Baleba and they are okay to go. So the talks of economy, that is January, becomes rumors and monitoring to keep fans hooked. So how many times have we had this spin? Manchester United are monitoring. Manchester United are considering. Manchester United are looking at. Manchester United attended a match to watch a player. How many times have you heard that story? How many times, guys? And I came across this. I came across this and I was absolutely furious. Actually came across this as I was preparing for the show, for the live. Look at this. I hope my mic won't disconnect. I hope my mic won't disconnect. I don't know what's happening. So I want us to look at this screenshot. Benjamin Sheshko's conduct behind the scenes at Carrington has started to win officials over, persuading Manchester United to remain focused solely on midfield rebuild. Just look at that first paragraph. The spin. Look at the spin in that first paragraph. It started with with Ornstein. It started with Ornstein. Don't expect a crazy window. You remember? Now this came out 5 hours ago. Basically, 5 hours ago was 1 hour before I started the live. So let's say 6 hours ago. So they are saying Sheshko is enough. United don't need a second striker. And they want to sell Joshua Zaxi. Look at that spin. Sheshko's conduct behind the scenes at Carrington has started to win over officials, persuading United to remain focused on a midfield target. Despite spending plenty of time on the bench, Sheshko is described as one of the hardest workers in the group and has not shown any effect on his on-field inconsistency. So that spin, expect this, and I hope you can. I'm telling now my AI clip this. I hope you can remember this. The spin that is going to be generated is this. Sheshko is good enough to play in striker. We have Chido Obi in the academy, and Cunha or Mbumo can play as a striker. Expect that spin. United won't go for a second striker. They'll say those three things. Number one, Sheshko is good enough, as you've seen in this screenshot. He's working hard. They trust him. He'll be good over the next couple of years. Number two, in case Sheshko is injured or is not available, Cunha Mbumo can play in that position. Number three, Chidobi is there and he will play as a second striker. Expect that spin. Expect that spin. That is the spin that is going to come up. So it's a really frustrating period for United as a United fan. And I usually try to open your eyes to tell you don't always believe what is pushed out by the media. Personally, I believe Amorim, part of his sacking was because of media pressure. The media has a way of changing our thinking. It's not spin. Time to wake up and enjoy 3 wins. Try smiling. Yeah, we are enjoying the 3 wins, but all you are saying is there were promises of a rebuild. It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. Do you think if United didn't win any game in January, there wouldn't be any pressure to sign players? Let's just have a chat about that. Assume yes, Carrick came in. Fletcher didn't win any game. Kicked out of the FA Cup in his second game. Carrick comes on 2 big matches, wins them. Let's just assume United were beaten by City, beaten by Arsenal. What will have happened? The last week of that window would have been very active because now the fans will have said, no, actually, Amorim wasn't the problem. The problem is the squad. In those 2 games with Fletcher, that spin or that narrative, that fact or that impression, that perception, whatever you may call it, started to show up, started to pop up. Guys were like, ooh, no, we can't say it's Amorim because Carrick is playing Fletcher is playing a back four, but United are not winning. So Carrick coming in, 3 wins, they are perfect. I'm not saying 3 wins are bad, but I'm saying in the long term, United need players. All of us know United need midfielders, United need fullbacks, they need a second striker, they need another center back. United needs another good second goalkeeper. If Lamens gets injured now or suspended, who's waiting for him? Alte Bandia. Imagine having Alte Bandia in goal, having Ugarte and Mainu in midfield, and having Mason Mount as a number 10 assuming that Lamens, Casemiro, and Bruno are not available? It's my question to you. It's a question to you. If Carrick didn't win those two games, especially City and Arsenal, trust me, these guys will have gone into the market and bought one player, or even went or go and get. Why is my English not working out? I'm thinking too fast. If Carrick didn't win versus City or Arsenal or both, United will have gone to the market to sign even a loan deal. You will have done it. You will have done it. Yeah. So let's see. Final minutes of the show, then we end it. We're in that section where it's just having a chat. Ooh, what have I done? It's just having a chat. Um, just chatting. So in case you have any question, comment, yeah, let's have a chat for the next. We have around 4 minutes now. Let's see some comments on TikTok. Um, Dante, you are saying I hate that board, Kabisa, so useless. Same here. Same here. United right now are being run on hype, vibes, and inshallah. That is United. And what frustrates me is the fans are enjoying it. Like you see here, that comment, it's not spin. Time to wake up and enjoy the 3 wins. Try smiling. We are happy with the wins, but we are worried about repeating history. Ole came in. We know Mourinho's football became dreadful. Ole came in, and we were smiling. COVID happened. It was a difficult time all over the world. United finished second, third, winning games, going unbeaten in away matches. It was all good. But now, when it came to a point where United needed to go to the next level, to now start challenging for titles, the rebuild was broken down. The script was torn. United fans have been desperate for long. They've had bad times for long, such that they are very desperate to have the good times back. United fans have been spoiled. We have been winning so much, such that now when it's our time to have a downturn, to have a bad moment, we are so desperate to come back, such that even at times when we get those like purple patches, we say the good times are back. And then when things don't actually keep being good, like if the purple patch ends, we are back into that gloom and doom mood, gloom and doom scenario, gloom and doom situation. It happens. It has been happening. So right now the fans are very hyped, very excited, and rightfully so. We deserve to feel that joy again. United fans have been suffering for long. I have been suffering for long. I want United to keep winning. But now the problem comes in when now a poor run of form comes in. We don't know how to manage that emotion. We don't know how to manage that reality that we will have good times and bad times. And sometimes the bad times will take more time. Right now, most United fans are not patient for a rebuild. They want to have results here and now. That's why you find, like when I said that playing transitional football week in, week out is not sustainable, fans get agitated. They start calling you a plastic fan. When you start asking for patience with Amorim, you are called an Amorim sexual, or you are told to be, you're not a true fan, you're not a true United fan. Because United fans have gone through difficult times for a very long time after Fergie left. And most of us don't know how to adjust to that situation where we are no longer that team that every team fears. A lot of us have not seen United being beaten 4-0 by a team like Brentford. That's new to us. Most fans who started supporting United during Fergie days, being beaten 4-0 by a mid-table club, it's new. United are the ones who are used to beating teams 4-0, 3-0, 5-0. United fans are used to seeing Old Trafford as a fortress. Teams fear coming to Old Trafford. Right now they don't. That's new to us. It's time to adjust. We still have those high expectation, high standards. So when there is a run of poor results, we are not patient enough to say, okay, where actually is the problem? Where actually is the problem? Arsenal went through the same thing when Arsene Wenger left, but the difference between Arsenal and United is Arsenal have had a clear plan. They communicated the plan. They showed they are working on the plan, and right now they are enjoying good times. Even though we will tell Arsenal fans that their football is boring, their set piece FC, they don't care. They don't care. Once they lift that Premier League trophy, nobody will care whether they won the league with penalties only. No. But they were patient. Their board communicated a plan. They told the fans, we know what we are doing. But when it comes to United, we don't have a clear indication of what the plan actually is. A rebuild is started midway through, half baked, read the script, start a new one. It has happened over and over and over. I finally thought that with Amorim, he has a clear philosophy, he has a clear way of playing. He's trying to set up the standards. Like we saw the leaks became few. We saw that he's trying to make the players work hard for their positions. It's not about entitlement anymore. He got rid of some of the stubborn players like Garnacho. I thought that finally these guys are starting to show us that they have a plan. But as per the topic of the day, INEOS have lied to us. Now we are starting all over again. What happens when the new head coach comes and it doesn't work out? Same thing. When the new head coach comes in, or God forbid, Carrick has a poor run of results, what do you think will happen? Fans will start turning against him. They'll start saying, oh, don't give him the contract. Right now, a lot of fans are saying, give him the contract straight away. But what happens when, let's say, he doesn't go 5 games with a win? Or let's say in 5 games, he gets 1 win, 3 draws, 1 loss. Fans will start turning on him and saying, oh, we need to get a permanent manager right now. Carrick is not it. Because United fans have been going through good times. And then after Fergie went, expectations were high. Everyone wanted United to keep winning, but it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. That's why we keep living on nostalgia, using terms like standards, like DNA, United DNA, and all that. Because actually, if we are honest, if you ask a lot of United fans what the Manchester United DNA is, you'll get very, very different answers, variations of answers. So, yeah, I just hope and pray that United fans can just stay grounded. Just take one game at a time. One game at a time. One game at a time. When it's a loss or a draw, just say, fine, tough luck. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. Because a rebuild is not nice. A rebuild is nasty. A rebuild is messy. A rebuild is never. We are not in a situation like Man City. We can go out and spend 600 million pounds over 2 windows. No. You've seen United haggle over 70 million pounds trying to negotiate to pay in installments. United are not in that situation. United can't offer someone right now 500k in salaries. So the rebuild will take more time than we anticipate. The only way is to just have patience. I know United fans want to have that good feeling back. that winning feeling back. That's why when you try to bring a bit of realism, you are met with hostility. It is PTSD loading, PTSD showing. Like, why are you telling us not to enjoy? No, I'm not saying don't enjoy, but at the same time, be grounded. So if Carrick has won 3 matches, so in case he loses the next three, are we going to change our mood? Are we going to change our view of him because he hasn't won the 3 matches? United fans right now are very, very emotionally volatile. A couple of wins, it's high. Couple of poor performances, it's way down to the floor. Just do like I've seen some fans saying, I'll keep hiring and sacking managers until we get it right. But this is not Football Manager. It's not FIFA. It's not a video game. It's reality. Things take time. Things take time. Yeah. Let's see some of the comments. Alan, you're saying the board brought in a sporting director, pay Newcastle, and sacked him in 2 months, and they give a manager 300 million. Exactly, as I said, they start a rebuild, they start a project. Midway through, it's not working. Tear it down, start a new one. And to me, Amorim was doing a good job. Yes, on the pitch, results were not showing, but what he did off of it, what he was trying to implement, needed time to actually show results. But for most of us, we just want to see 3 points, a green W. That's it. We don't care about whatever is happening behind there. And you know why? Because when United were under Ferguson, we never got news of what's happening behind closed doors. Because Ferguson was managing everything. Ferguson had set up that club with his basically in his own image. I was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday before I went live, and he told me he's an Arsenal fan, and he's one of the good Arsenal fans. He's not he's not annoying, but he was telling me one thing that is affecting a lot of United fans is not realizing that Ferguson, yes, as much as he's a legend, but he didn't leave this club in a manner that someone else can take over. I remember I said it in one of the big debates, and I still got slaughtered for it. I said Ferguson spoiled us, and he did not leave the club in a state that someone else can step in and continue with his work, because he ran everything. He did most of the groundwork. Now, someone else coming in and trying to manage everything, it will have required someone who did the same. Of course, he said David Moyes. David Moyes was close to what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do, because Moyes used to run Everton, everything at Everton, signings, everything. But now when Moyes came in, he found a CEO who didn't even know about football. He found a banker. He found a banker running a football club. So when he's told, I need you to sign this player, he's like, how many shirt sales is he going to get us? No, I won't go for him. I'll go for someone who will get us a lot of shirt sales, because he just wants to generate revenue. So the United club has not been set up in such a way that it's easy to replace Sir Alex Ferguson and what he did. And that's what we are struggling to understand. Right now, United can't be the way Ferguson used to run the place. No. Sir Matt Busby also set up his club in his own image. And after he left, United really struggled, really struggled. Check the history books. United really struggled before Sir Alex Ferguson came. And what did Ferguson do? He tore down everything that was done by previous managers after Busby. And he set it up afresh. And it took him 6 years to do so. When Amorim came in, he did the same. He was trying to do the same. He tried to tear down everything that was done by managers that came after Ferguson. And he needed time to now build something modern with a new team. He didn't even get midway. Now it's out. So United fans just need to be patient. They need to be very, very patient. Very, very patient. There could be a lot of pressure, honestly speaking, if we never won. That's true. With the 3 games excitement, fans forget we need signings. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. A lot of fans forget that the midfield is still an issue. Like I've said, assume Bruno, Lamens, Casemiro get injured. Who's going to play there? Bayandia for Lamens, Ugarte for Casemiro, Mason Mount, who's not really reliable, is the number 10 option we have. Yeah, as I've said, United fans have suffered for so long after Fergie left. They are trying to look for that that exciting moment, that good feeling they used to have, because United was so used to winning, so used to winning. Now, when it has come to a time where the team is not winning so much, they can't take it anymore. They can't be patient. They are like, no, the trolling is too much, the banter is too much, the suffering is too much. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. So they are looking for the next dopamine hit, the next nice feeling. They are not really willing to say, I'm going, like Amorim used to say, let's just suffer a little bit, then the good times are coming. No, most United fans are not ready for that. They are not. That's why actually when you bring in, as I've said, that's why when you bring in some realism in a very highly hyped moment like Carrick winning 3 games, you'll be met with pure hostility. Pure hostility. A lot of guys will skin you alive. Trust me, go to my TikTok page, go to my Instagram, go to the UKG Instagram and TikTok page. Look at that video I said about Carrick. Just check the comments, then come back. Yeah, because you're trying to bring in some realism. So it seems right now, United, if you want to review something, you wait until the hype goes down. There's a lot of euphoria, to be honest. Right now, it's like a bus station. You can come in and come out with an easy win. Yeah, someone said Manchester United need to just keep hiring interim managers. Every 6 months, United have an interim manager. That's what they need to do. Or they need to hire many managers and have them on shifts. Like you have Carrick for 3 months, Ole for 3 months, like that. You bring in, let's say, Fletcher for 3 months. You keep rotating interim managers until United win the Champions League and the Premier League. Yeah, Alan, yeah, the club never communicates. It's all spin, spin, spin. It's all spin, spin, spin. Mr. X, you're saying, but let's talk about the improvement in gameplay and the work rate of players. Give them credit. Yes, Mr. X, that's very right. A lot of guys won't admit this, but Amorim did a good job in terms of fitness, athleticism, that mentality to work hard on the pitch, off the pitch. It started under Amorim because we saw Amorim tell players, if you are not fit, you're not going to play. Until the medical department tell me you are good, no. You remember those reports about him having a bust up with Martinez in December because he thought that Martinez is not ready? That's a good thing. It's telling them, hey, if you're not fit, you won't play. Managing player injuries. I think Mason Mount has played more minutes under Amorim than any other manager. Then athleticism, like also players have to fight for their place. Casemiro was kicked out of the squad. He couldn't even make it on the bench. Look at Casemiro right now. On the other hand, I won't name the player because, for obvious reasons, he believes he should be playing just because he's from Carrington. While some players have been kicked out and they've been told, you need to improve, my friend. You need to improve. Yeah. So we saw Dogu. Amorim said it in the press conference. He was criticized for saying it, but everyone saw Dogu was not performing well. What has Dogu done? All of a sudden, he's performing well. So the athleticism, the work rate, I agree with you, Mr. X. It has improved. Like winning that game versus Fulham, it took a lot. The players actually looked fitter than Fulham. Looked fitter than Fulham. And let me say this. Most of us expect one game per week should be easy for United to perform during the game, but players need matches. Players need matches. The more matches they play, the match fit they become. The match fit they become. So yeah. Um, let's see. Any other comment before we end the live? Something about leaks. Alan, you're saying the club never communicates, and in other clubs you don't hear leaks of signings 4 months before the transfer window opens. Yes, yes. Like Crystal Palace have signed players just like that from nowhere. We didn't even know they are signing players. But something else you need to understand: United is a very marketable club. Very, very marketable club. If you want to have clicks and views, just post anything about United. So United will get more media attention than any other club. For example, Manchester United are not in the Champions League, but the commentators, the pundits have to make sure they mention United somewhere. So that 30-second clip, that 10-second, 15-second clip is taken, posted on social media to say, you see, how do we say it? Is it hated, adored, but never ignored? Something like that. Once you post that, views and clicks, now you will start looking for the entire video. But they mention United like once or twice. Like once or twice, yeah. So yeah, guys, thanks for being live. Thanks for being online with me. Time to end the live. As usual, make sure you go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Let me see the poll. I had posted a poll um, on YouTube. So I had asked, do you think INEOS have a plan? So unfortunately, we've only had one vote. Um, yes, trust the process. Trust the process. That's the one vote. That's the one vote. So thanks, guys, for being live. Tomorrow, as usual, we will have our UKG debate, midweek debate with KC Reacts. KC Reacts bailed out on me for during the watch along because he had an issue with his network, but hopefully tomorrow he'll be here. Make sure you also go check out his channel. We are at 664 subscribers on our UKG platform on YouTube. Head over there, click the like button, as well as check out other videos. We do post other offline videos and not only lives. Make sure you check them out. Share the stream as well. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's see whether we can get to 1,000 before Easter. Am I being too optimistic? Yeah, we can make it before Easter. So yeah, cheers, guys. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.